Hello, cats and kittens, or Jose, Yoroshku. Welcome to Manga Monday on the Crisis Corner. We're going to be giving impressions on One Piece chapter 993 entitled The Dream of Wano. We're coming into a critical portion of the battle for Onigashima. It's about to pop off. Something very serious is about to pop off. Although the end of this battle and the end of the Wano arc, I think, is a long ways off, but we're getting into a critical moment. The chapter itself kicks off with the cover story, of course. Gotti and Lola get married, add to the Beige family, that's fine, whatever. I'm not that much into the cover stories. But getting to the point is an interesting contrast that we start off with. We start off actually in the flower capital. And the revelry is actually taking place. And it's a bittersweet revelry because the people are celebrating the fire festival. But when you actually hear them speaking, it's not a totally joyous celebration. It's a fleeting celebration. They know that for the moment they have clean water, clean food to eat, clean booze to drink. Frankie's boss even notes that he won't have another drop of liquor for an entire year after the festival is over. So it's one of those let us eat and drink for tomorrow we will die type situations. They're exuberant in the moment, but they know that their country is being run into the ground by Orochi and Kaido, and moments like these are like annual occasions. This That's all they can do. They can hope. They even are emboldened to speak out loud their desire for the Kazuki family to come and sweep away Kaido and his and Orochi and their minions and restore their country. One person even imagines that such a battle is taking place right now, which it actually is, and that the result will be the toppling of Kaido and Orochi so that they can have their country restored. So I imagine in the anime, this is going to play really nice because they'll probably have some nice music to segue from this joyous celebration or somewhat joyous celebration back into the battle for Onigashima. And then that's like a 3-page, intro. And then you get into Onigashima itself where the battle's taking place. And Queen is using his plague bullets to turn people into ice demons or ice ogres. The same as in the prison, he used his plague bullets to give people this heated, that they would have this fever and then they would get sick and pass this plague on to others, which his plague bullets usually have the effect of causing a plague, something that can be passed on, thus, increasing the effect. So these bullets turn people into ice ogres. They in turn bite others, infect them, and spread this disease to others. Now, whether Chopper is on hand, but I don't think this is a situation like in Udon prison where he can take time to whip up a formula. They are currently in the middle of an invasion. So if he comes up with a cure for this ice infection, it's going to have to be after this battle, or if he has it on him or something, maybe he can apply it. But this is just a situation that's not going to be able to be solved in the moment, I don't think. So that's something that Zoro and who's with him? Zoro is with Drake. So they're going to have to avoid getting hit by those bullets. That's another story for another day. From here, we catch up with an interesting part of the story, I think, is Sanji and Luffy working their way from basement level one. They got to go up another 5 levels to get to the roof to get to where Kaido is. So obviously, this is going to take a little while. But the interesting thing is the interaction between Sanji and Jinbei. Because initially, Sanji and Luffy are running to the top, are trying to get to the top of the dome. And of course, they encountered these, opposition soldiers. And Sanji is convincing Luffy, let me take out the fodder so you can conserve your strength for Kaido. They bicker about that slightly. Sanji takes out the fodder, and then they run into this guy, headliner. Is he a headliner? Samafu user. He's a headliner. Briscola, who has a he's an Animal Kingdom gorilla smile from, which essentially he has a gorilla on his left arm, a gorilla for a left arm, essentially. I don't think either Luffy or Sanji takes him terribly seriously, but the point is, he goes in for this attack, his gorilla punch, which is him punching with the gorilla and the gorilla also punching in like a rapid fashion, which is almost comical to me. He attacks, but Jinbei steps in and one shots him. He hits him with the shark brick fist, or however that's translated. Takes him out. And then reiterates what Sanji was telling Luffy. He tells Luffy again, um, I'm getting you to the top of the roof, conserve your strength for Kaido. Sanji jumps off. He jumps into Jinbei, basically telling him, "Who put you in charge? I'm the one who's going to get him up there." Had this conversation taken place between Sanji and Zoro, they'd have just been bickering straight out until eventually something would have squashed it. But they'd have been bickering hard because Zoro wouldn't have wanted to be bossed around by Sanji, and they would just go at it for a little bit, probably until more opposition came their way, and then they put their differences aside to get rid of them. That's just the nature of their relationship. The interesting thing here is that Jinbei diffuses the situation, with his uncle type personality. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, it just diffuses it. He doesn't argue with him. He just says, oh, okay, let's go. I mean, that kind of thing, which is cool. Because Jinbei is an elder statesman. He doesn't, play into that, rivalry type business. He's just about getting things done. So I think it's interesting. I want to see further how Jinbei, integrates into the crew and how he plays off with different members of the Straw Hat Pirates. So we can see here that, again, he has that unclely, if you could say that's a word, type approach towards dealing with hotheads like Sanji. I thought that was just a little bit that I thought was amusing. From there, we go to King basically putting a hit out on Momonosuke. His point is here, the raid is basically the retainers of Kazuki or the Kazuki family trying to put Momonosuke on the throne, essentially, and make him the shogun. So kill Momono. He puts the word out to his minions or to the rest of the crew, specifically Sasaki, and who else is there? I think he's speaking directly. Will we see Page one? No. Who's who? Who else is there? Sasaki and somebody else. He basically tells everyone, go after Momonosuke, kill him, and that'll break the spirit of the samurai who are fighting to get him, to make him shogun. And there we go to Shinobu, who is carrying Momonosuke, being pursued by Yamato, who's actually trying to protect him as well. They run into opposition from the armored division of the Animal Kingdom the Animal Kingdom Pirates Armored Division, who I suppose is under Sasaki. And Shinobu is very heroic. She takes some hits from these guys in protecting Momonosuke. She took some arrows. She took some, I don't know what they're throwing at her, arrows, I think, for the most part. And she takes some nasty hits to protect him. And she tells Momonosuke to run, but Momonosuke is thinking, is a shogun supposed to run? He's showing some courage there, but Sasaki is basically, hey, go in on him, take him out, you know. But Yamato steps in because she's supposed to be carrying the will of the Kazuki clan, of Kazuki Onin or Odin, excuse me. So she steps in there and prepares to defend him against the armored division. Cutscene. Now we get to the dome and the battle between the retainers and Kaido himself, and we can see it's not going to go well. Up until the last chapter, it looked like they were rallying and putting in some pretty good work. They had managed to cut Kaido, which is good. This is a feat in and of itself. But now we get his rebuttal. He basically tells them, they're going in. They're like, cut off his head. We can end this now and win. But it's not going to end until we cut that head off or cut his throat or whatever. Stop him from using his breath. Just cut his head off, essentially. But Kaido's thing is, you guys you're not Odin, I've taken your measure, I've taken your stabs. You cut me, yeah, but they don't. Your cuts weren't anywhere near as effective as Odin's. You're weak, or you're weaker than he was, and that's it. I'm done with you. So he's getting ready to put in work, and he lets loose an attack. If you're familiar with Naruto, it kind of reminds me of I think it's Tamari. She has, when she summons her, I don't know, is it a weasel or something that has this scythe, and he just lets off these wind attacks, and she leveled an entire forest with them. And it looks bad because at this point, Kiku loses her arm. You got these wind attacks that's just sailing through the air, cutting everything in sight, and Kaido's basically saying, I'm done with you. You can't even open up my own. So their attacks apparently fail. And it's interesting. He makes the statement that, what he says? He says, but you people are not Odin. We will never see a monster samurai of his like again. Which opens the door for the exact opposite before the end of this arc, that someone is going to rise, because Kaido is going to lose in some fashion. I don't know if he's going to be killed or he's going to be banished or he's going to be tied up or whatever, but he's going to lose. And by him saying that we'll never see the likes of a monster samurai like Odin again, clearly we are going to see a monster samurai like Odin who is going to put him down. Question is, who is it going to be? If we're thinking samurai, we're thinking on the top of your head, you're thinking somebody with a sword, which would lead you to think, Zoro might, if not take him down, show the tenacity of the mind. Because when we think of Zoro, a lot of his attacks are based on demons or monsters. He has a monstrous aura or presence. We usually think of that. And if you're talking about opening a wound, a sword wound, you would think, okay, he's got Emna. Is he going to slice that wound open? I think yes, but I don't think he's going to defeat Kaido because that's going to be either Luffy's job, possibly a coalition of the supernovas, maybe Luffy, Kid, and Law, or some combination thereof. Maybe Luffy gets the final shot. But opening a wound, if something makes me think that that's a sword specific blow that's going to be dealt to him, either the finishing blow or somewhere in there, but it's going to be sword specific. Now, in that case, I would say Zoro's going to get a pretty good feat. I think he's going to probably slice open that wound, and then at some point, Kaido will be done in probably by Luffy because he's got to use that real attack and maybe exacerbate their wound and just put him down. I don't know if they're going to kill this guy or he's going to whatever, but I just have the impression Zoro was going to get a good shot at it. And if I'm really going to make a prediction here, this is an off side prediction. Zoro's next bounty is going to be $1 billion bounty. I think he's going to get $1 billion bounty somewhere in there. It's going to be getting pretty close to. It's not going to be a Yako level bounty, but it's definitely going to be up there with the first one of them sweet commander, first division commander type deals. Yako commander level bounty. I'm pretty sure after he performs this feat, it's going to be known that this dude is extremely dangerous. That's my prediction. But anyway, the chapter is great. But I think we're going to be looking at least, I mean, because Kiku, see, this is another thing. Kiku gets her arm cut off, if indeed she did get her arm cut off. I don't think that's going to sit well with Zoro. Because I think her and Momonosuke, he's fond of. And her getting her arm cut off, and her sword got chopped up too. So I don't think that's going to sit well with him, and that might go into his flicking off on Kaido. Not to say that it's a romantic interest, but Oda set up a relationship between the two to a small extent. Now, regardless of whether it's a romantic relationship or whatever, I don't think he'll take kindly to her getting her arm cut off like that. That's just me thinking. Anyway, either way, we're going in on this guy. But the retainers are in deep and serious trouble, and I can see at least in the next couple of chapters we can lose a couple of them. Because Luffy's not getting on that roof anytime soon. Maybe by the end of the year, I don't know. But and even when he gets there, I don't think this is going to be over by any stretch. This is going to be probably one of the more. This is going to be as vicious as Marineford. It's going to be a pretty vicious battle that I'm looking forward to. But you know, Kaido, this is the Empire Strikes Back type situation. So Kaido's about to get his licks. So I'm looking forward to chapter 994. This was very good. I would say this is an A-level chapter, and I look forward to giving my impressions on 994. So let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in 994. Stay loose.